Krista. Okay, Diane's unable to attend.
Do we have enough then for a quorum?
Yeah, everybody else is here.
Rock on. Okay, it is now 3:30. I'd like to call the October 5th, 2021 Port Orford Planning Commission meeting to order. The meeting agenda is pretty sparse. I think we're kind of in one of those where we don't really have a lot of direction right now from the council because they're still working on what type of direction they want to go to, but we're waiting for the public hearing, which can't happen until November. And so I don't anticipate lots to go on. I think a conversation would be good about perhaps the next steps on what to do. But I do want to caution as we go forward in the next steps is that I think while it's great to bring things up, we should probably need to listen and wait for the council to tell us what they want to do, because we could be talking about something that might be hugely important to us, but when it gets to council, they could go, yeah, we're not doing anything about it. And I just don't want to waste people's time. I do have an email from Mayor Cox about kind of the direction of the city council and where he thinks it might be going. So I think first off, I do know, and if you all keep on track with the city council, they are looking at vacation rentals. However, I believe based on my conversation with the mayor, caller one, could you please mute? Thank you. That they are still talking about it in council and what they exactly want to send to the planning commission, if that makes sense. The same thing is also in terms of ADUs. Is they're still talking about in council what they're exactly wanting to look for, and then they'll send it to us. And then they're talking about having us do a workshop with them so we can have a clear direction, because it could be easy to do multiple different ways with those two subject areas. And perhaps where we go is not where the council would like us to go. So that's kind of my comments. It's just, I think, we can have that conversation, but I don't want to go too in depth in it until we know exactly where the council wants us to go. So are there any additions to our agenda for today? Okay. Everybody had a chance to read the minutes? Are there any comments? Recollections of something different? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the September 7th, 2001 meeting?
Commissioner Burns, I make a motion to approve the minutes from September 7th, 2021.
Do I have a second?
Commissioner Rossi, second.
Do we have any discussion? Okay, Commissioner Burnt.
Yes.
Commissioner Rossi.
Yes.
Commissioner Jesuit.
Yes.
Commissioner Thielen.
Yes.
Commissioner Reinhold.
Yes.
Commissioner Nera, yes. Minutes are approved. Okay, now we're at the comments from the public section. Do we have any comments from any of our public who are joining us today? Okay, moving on to number 6, public hearing. We don't have one for today. We will have one at the November meeting in regards to building heights. Patty and Shayla, those public hearing, it tends to be a little longer, correct? They tend to be kind of so plan on a good chunk of time next time is what I'm seeing. And so moving on to agenda item number 7, planning matters. So commissioners, I think this is a time for us to maybe talk about what are we thinking in terms of perhaps where we want to go, and then I can maybe have that discussion with the mayor and we can go to a workshop. I mean, last time we did talk about vacation rentals, and I think that's something that's really coming up that perhaps is pretty important for our community. ADUs. Now, Shayla, quick question. I was reading an article in the Oregonian where the state may pass a law in terms of ADUs. Do you know anything about that, of ADU usage?
No, I think that the state is going to roll back local authority in dealing with some of these land use issues, but I haven't heard anything specific about that.
Okay. I was reading, I think it's like in the Portland area. I don't know what was happening, but I thought it had something to do with the state and the laws. Okay. I also remember from the last meeting, commissioners, please correct me if I'm wrong, there was a comment about the water infrastructure. Does anybody maybe want to go into that? And that could be something that we could bring to the council. I don't know how our goal would be in terms of planning, in terms of the infrastructure. Patty, Shayla, anybody? Go ahead, Patty.
Okay, they're already working on that right now. The council is. That is really not a planning our matter. I mean, they have to fix a few things and we have to get some more rain.
Can we only get it on Saturdays and Sundays? Because rainy day recess is not good for me. Go ahead, Commissioner Burnt.
Yes, Commissioner Burnt. Last time I brought it up because I had attended the last city council meeting and wanted just to share with everyone that there was a 60-day moratorium.
Okay.
So that was my reason for bringing it up.
Thank you. And one of the questions I guess I have for Patty and Shayla is I noticed when I read the minutes for the city council, there's a part in there where it says planning. And often there's nothing after planning. Is that a time that perhaps if Commissioner Burnt attends the council meetings where she can share what we do at council? What is that particular purpose there for at the city council meetings? Go ahead, Patty.
Okay, so there should be a report from me in that packet. I didn't look at last packet, but for whatever we worked on the prior meeting. So like their October meeting, I'll have something in the planning or their packet saying what we did at this meeting. I usually include any building permits that have been issued or in the process, and that's it. I mean, some things we can't tell them about ahead of time.
Okay.
You know, because
would it not be a great idea then? I'm just throwing this out. I don't know how, it's at the end of the day, so my vocabulary has left me. But would that be a time then for Commissioner Burns if she was there to share or take questions from the council, or would that be kind of
only certain questions though? Can she have like this public hearing that's coming up? They shouldn't hear about that from us until, because they're going to have it right after us.
Okay. Okay, I was kind of wondering because I thought if Commissioner Burnt was there, then she would be able to be that conduit between the council and us.
I might ask Shayla that.
Okay.
It's fine to be the conduit between the city council and the planning commission. It's just that if there are quasi-judicial applications pending in front of the planning commission, they shouldn't be brought or discussed in front of the council. They're supposed to be heard at the planning commission level first.
Okay.
But that has to do with specific land use applications.
Oh, okay. Commissioner Byrne.
Yes, Commissioner Byrne here. I have attended city council meetings when asked if there was anything that I wanted to address. So I think it's good for me to know what I can and cannot be discussing during a city council meeting. for all of us who are attending city council meetings. If there are some real hard and fast rules about that.
Okay. Thank you. And I think maybe Shayla, you and Patty obviously go to both. So if there were a question that perhaps we weren't able to answer, that you two could jump in and say that's not a question that Commissioner Burt could answer, correct?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay. Commissioners, are there anything else? I think, I don't really know. I know that the council, like I said, is going to look at the vacation rentals. I think it's on their agenda for this meeting in October to send to us what they want. But do we want to discuss anything just to kind of get the ball rolling as to perhaps what we should look at in terms of vacation rentals and ADUs? Is there any discussion amongst us what we could maybe go and do prior to what we know we need to really want to focus on? Commissioner Burnt?
Yes. I personally feel like in order to be well acquainted with the topic, I like to do my due diligence and research in advance if I know something is going to be coming up. So that just makes sense to me. And I think most of us would probably agree with that. One of the logical things is to look at how other neighboring towns are treating these issues as they come up. So, and I've already done a little bit of that work. So that would be my thought and advice.
Any other comments from commissioners? I would actually agree. I think the research, seeing how towns on the South Coast and even towns that are very comparable in size to us would be something that we'd want to look at in terms of the vacation rentals. I guess my question, and maybe this is for the next meeting, Patty, is could we see how many vacation rentals we currently have in Port Orford? And perhaps, I don't know if we just want to see the numbers, or are we looking at it also like where are they located? Which planet, like which zones? Are they located in the C, 5C or like the 8Rs? I don't know. Where are they located in terms of in Port Orford? How many? I'd heard at one point that perhaps only 4% of the houses in Port Orford were considered vacation rentals, but that's just a number I'd heard. So I don't know. I think that information would be important to us. Yes, Patty.
So right now there is vacation rentals in every zone, except for the marine activity zone, of course, and probably the industrial zone. But all the other zones do have vacation rentals in them.
And do you have the number of vacation rentals in Port Orford and what it is in terms of percentage?
I do not in front of me, I don't.
Could you bring that for the next meeting? Commissioner Byrne?
Yes, Commissioner Burnt here. So I think this question is more directed to Patty. Could you tell us what the process is for someone to declare a vacation rental? And if someone requires some kind of a special permit, do they need to contact you, the city? What is the process that someone goes through to make their home a vacation rental?
For the ones that are being honest about themselves being a vacation rental, they turn in a transient lodging tax application because they have to pay transient lodging tax to the city and to the state. There's a registration form, and then Dina sends them out a certificate, saying that they're a vacation rental. And then every 3 months they have to pay the taxes and keep, there's a form they keep track of and then send it back into us.
Okay, so in other words, there's a good possibility that there are additional vacation rentals
Of course,
to
yeah.
what you have on record. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Thielen?
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to ask. When Patty said the ones who are honest about their vacation rental status, I'm curious how many total there are, and how we would even find out how many there are, that there actually are.
I guess an Airbnb search, maybe.
Well, we've done all that, and you still, if the owner has it, their services in their name, we can't go knock on the door and see if that owner's living there, or if they're renting it out, or you can't do that. So there is no way for us to know for sure how many there are. As in any town, I'm sure.
Yeah. Commissioner Byrne?
Yes, I have heard that there is software that can do a search with all of the various vacation rental applications, computer apps, and it can give a very definite number. So let's say, for instance, someone uses Airbnb. There are tools to determine how many Airbnbs there are in our town, and compare that to
we have done that. Like I said, we can do that much, but I could rent my home out and don't put it online, just rent it out as an Airbnb to family and friends, and nobody's going to know it.
Right.
Those are the ones I'm saying we can't track.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I think, Patty, if you could maybe give what the city has in terms of online, so we can, or what the city knows of, because I think that's going to be our best number. And then we can see perhaps percentages, and it is in every zone. And then hopefully by next meeting, we can start going forward in terms of what the council actually wants us to do, and then have some research started. So I think our next step for the vacation rentals would be, and I would agree, Commissioner Berndt, would be to do some research of neighboring towns. So is there any, I know that you've started, you said you've started, Commissioner. What towns have you already looked at?
Northern, mostly. So I would say Gerhardt, Florence. I don't know that I've looked at Coos Bay, but I haven't yet looked at the southern towns like Gold Beach, Nasika Beach, Brookings.
So are there any commissioners who are willing to do some more research with Commissioner Burns, just to kind of see what other towns are doing in terms of vacation rentals?
Yeah.
Commissioner Thielen?
Yes, I'd be interested in doing that. I could talk to Pamela about that, maybe, and I'd chip in on that. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Patty, I don't know, and Shayla, I don't know, is the council really going to focus on vacation rentals, or should we even do some research on ADUs?
I thought their focus was on VRDs, or vacation rental dwellings, at the moment.
Okay. Okay, so I think for us, maybe just to get started, and I could be wrong, you guys may say, no, we want to go. I think maybe we focus on that vacation rental and just get some research done. What do y'all think?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any other planning matters to discuss? Go ahead, Commissioner Berndt.
Commissioner Berndt, I have a question for Patty. You mentioned earlier that in the city council, in the packet, you include any kind of new applications, building applications, that sort of thing. Does that ever come in front of the planning commission for any kind of discussion?
Okay, so when I say I put it in their packet, I don't put the whole application in the packet. I just say so-and-so applied for a single family dwelling at this address in this zone. That's it. because those don't need to go to you guys or the council. Those are in-house, done in-house. They're just building permits. The planning commission doesn't get to decide what somebody can build. We have to go by certain rules. If they don't meet our rules, then they don't get to build it. They have to meet setbacks and height and that kind of stuff. But those do not come to the planning commission or the city council.
Thank you.
My mic's off. Do we have any other planning matters that we want to talk about, commissioners? Okay, we're moving now on to other business. Announcements and communications. So city planner comments. I don't see Crystal. So planning commission comments. Does anybody, commissioners, do you have any comments? Very quiet meeting today. Go ahead, Commissioner Thielen.
I'd just like to thank whoever is doing these minutes. The last few meetings, the minutes have been fantastic. I can read them there. It's just awesome. It really helps me a lot. So thank you to whoever's doing that.
I concur.
Yes.
It's not Patty doing them. But we have a professional transcriber taking care of that.
Come on, Patty, give yourself a pat on the back. Nobody will know.
I do push the button and send it to her, the meeting.
No, they're great. They're like, I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember that. It helps me jog my mind. They're great. Any other planning commission comments? Commissioner Byrne.
Commissioner Burnt here. I just wanted to let everyone know as a follow-up to our last meeting that I have prepared a map. I worked with Crystal on the 7MA zone. So we now have a map that can go into the packet that will be part of the next meeting hearing.
Or Patty.
Okay, that map is already out there to the public. It does, I mean, you can see it online. It's in the notice that I had to send out to everybody. And it's been posted online along with the Measure 56 notice and the proposed ordinance change.
Did that notice go in everyone's PO box?
It went to every address that we had on file for property owners.
Okay.
That and then it's also been posted on the website for people that missed, because a lot of people's addresses with the county are not mailing addresses. They don't get physical mail there. So a lot of stuff did get returned. I mean, not a huge amount, but there was like 900 and some letters that went out to property owners, and maybe 30 have been returned undeliverable. But
Okay.
it is posted on the website and at City Hall.
Great.
Any other planning commission comments? Any old or continuing business? Any public considerations? Mr. Lawton, sorry, I think I missed you the first round. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just wanted to let you know that I attended the last city council special session, and that was last week. And Jessica informed the city council that she had counted 35 vacation rental business licenses within the city limits. I provided testimony to the city council. There are 41 vacation rentals listed on Airbnb, but those numbers are woefully underrepresented. Coos Bay in the month of August just did a study on that, and they found only 10 of their 82 vacation rentals were registered. And you can hire a third party. There are many third party vendors that a city can hire who will both comply and monitor vacation rentals, because this has become such a problem for other communities. And there's companies who do that. for a living. And the research I conducted showed that the average vacation rental was 5.1 customers per vacation rental, and that's about twice the size of an average family in Port Orford, which is 2.23 according to the 2020 census, and about 1.6 is the average per household. So these are larger units. They stay on average of 3 to 4 days, and the research shows that the majority of the economic activity in a vacation rental flows through an Airbnb visa and directly to the owners, and that the vast economic activity for the community is limited, and it's mostly through going out to eat. And the research has shown that most people bring an enormous amount of their food and beverage to their vacation rentals. So there isn't a huge economic activity for vacation rentals. They're critical. They play a key role for our restaurants, but they're not as significant as one might imagine, and they're not very labor intensive. The lodging industry has been fighting vacation rentals because they're actually losing employment due to the fact that vacation rentals aren't as labor intensive as a lodging, which has higher levels of service. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's interesting that you say that. I had a phone call with Commissioner Boyce, who was talking about the need for tourism and increasing economic that way, which then went back to how do we have affordable housing with vacation rentals and things like that. So this will be, I think, an interesting idea for us to take up and see where we can go.
Yes, I'd encourage the Planning Commission to look at the recent state report that came out by the Office of Economic Analysis that shows that the average wages on the coast are about 20% less than they are inland, largely due to tourism, and tourism doesn't provide the type of jobs. You know, the most recent study done up in Coos County shows that it's less than 50% from the forestry sector than in tourism, and they're often seasonal. So there's a lot of data out there, I think, that you can look at that the state's already compiled. I'm not against tourism, but I don't think the future of Port Orford's tourism. I think we need to look at the bigger picture for that. So there's a lot of research. There's a fantastic report I highly recommend you look at that the state of Arizona was involved with, that 34 communities supported and helped pay for, which was a large report and a very accurate report about their concern with short-term rentals. So I've provided that, and I'm willing to provide that to the Planning Commission, the link to it. It's an excellent, probably the most thorough report about the pros and cons of vacation rentals in communities.
Would you send that link to Patty?
Yes, I will.
That'd be, I think it'd be interesting to read. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll do that.
Thank you. Are there any other public considerations? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Commissioner Rossi, I make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Commissioner Burt, I second.
This meeting is adjourned at 3:58 p.m. Thank you all very much. Be ready for a nice long one next time. So, okay. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Krista.
This conference is no longer being recorded.